Hello, hello. It is Sara Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for this Moon Astrology Tarot. This time for the moon in Leo. This is midday on June 9th through the very early morning, like overnight hours on June 12th. So basically the 9th through the 11th. I have been very hesitant to record this one because as soon as the moon enters Leo, it is going to create a T-square between squaring Pluto square Mars. And Pluto is retrograde at 1 degree of Aquarius, and Mars has just entered Taurus. And now the moon's going to come into Leo, the fiery sign of Leo, and T-square it. So the moon will be opposite Pluto, and then the T-square kind of makes like a right? Is that like an equilateral triangle-ish shape on the chart? And then we also have all of the Gemini planets. Well, I shouldn't say all because Jupiter will not, but Venus, the Sun, and Mercury are going to square off with Saturn. And so this is very heavy energy. This is also quite volatile energy. And so if you are someone who maybe has some either suppressed or subconscious anger, that may surface if you're, I would say pick your crowds appropriately. I don't want to say like run and hide because I feel like that's never an option. We're humans, we live in a human experience. And so running and hiding is really not how we should feel or think. I feel like we still need to learn how to interact with one another. And this is where the compassion card comes in that I mentioned in the new moon in Gemini video. I mentioned about being compassionate because here's the thing with this moon in Leo. Leo can be kind of hot-headed, egotistical, and that could create like this whole like self-righteous, I was right, you were wrong, I'm right, you're wrong, see, I told you so kind of bullshit. I don't feel like that's how we should sort of interact with each other, because there needs to be compassion from human to human. And people make their choices. And it's not just to make those choices for them. People make their choices. And also as wounds continue to surface that need to be, we'll say, eliminated or excreted from our system so that we can level up, we have to be not only we have to be like responsible for letting that go and doing it in a capacity that's safe for ourselves and for those around us. So if you need to be angry, which I definitely recommend, if anger is coming up, feel free to express it, but do it responsibly, do it with respect, to the fact that you have this emotion and you got to feel it. I get that. Take yourself to a kickboxing gym, get yourself a punching bag at home, do some push-up, like certainly do some of those heavy, hardcore workouts, kickboxing, something with movement. I certainly don't recommend like running or swimming, or those are more meditative workouts, and they're not wrong or bad, but for this type of energy, you're going to need or want something that is going to really release the shit. If you have like a judo or jujitsu martial arts place, this would be the weekend to really put in some hours. Because if you're that exhausted from being on the mat, then the chances of you like exploding any of your anger, you're going to be too tired for that. Right. So, I mean, the beauty on the other side of this is going to be really good, but this is some volatile energy here. This is, Pluto squaring Mars is power struggles. It is, Mars is the warrior planet. Pluto is the god of the underworld. And so shit is surfacing. And then you've got planets squaring off with Saturn. Shit is surfacing crazily. And, it just feels like it could get very ugly very quickly. It doesn't have to, because we get to choose how this goes, but it could, because a lot of people have very unmanaged or not so harnessed emotions or emotional intelligence. And so, I feel like we could really, in the greater world of things, we could really see some, violent outbreaks of some sort or another. It's not what I want, but the potential is there. So, there is a lot of information coming out, and Gemini being about information, Jupiter is truth, and a lot of truths are coming out. And, yeah, Pluto's also about truth and revealing the truth. And, Pluto rules Scorpio, and Scorpio, man, Scorpio's gonna dig until it gets the truth, and it's getting the truth for humanity in this case because it's Pluto in Aquarius. So there's a lot here. I do feel like this is going to be a couple of days where maybe some emotions have already been stirred up from the moon having been in Cancer, pre this moon in Leo. But I definitely think some people could get really hot-headed really quickly, that some volatile shit could go down. We are heading into a very difficult summer, just because once truths start to come out, like surface and come out, there's going to be a lot of feelings around that, both mostly in the like lower frequency feelings, the anger, the shame, the betrayal kind of thing. There's also going to be an opportunity to be grieving or be in forgiveness or something like that with all the Pisces energy. So there's a lot of ways that this could go. And what I would say is manage yourself as best you can. Be aware if you're somebody who does anger easily. If you're somebody who, like me, tends to pop off at the mouth, giving myself away here. But it's the truth, right? It's the reality is that, some of us are really well known for popping off at the mouth. And this is the weekend where, some crazy shit like that could happen. So be on your guard. I would definitely say that, best self-care advice would be to, ground in your anger, feel your anger, do it in a responsible way. Like I said, hit the gym, go out for a walk, find a way to get that if you're going to walk, go walk like uphill. So you got to really work at it. This is definitely not the weekend for like a bike ride outside where you're going to be hitting a lot of resistance. Again, things that will exhaust you to the point where you don't have the energy to, be explosive. I definitely recommend like martial arts or something like that. I feel like that would be, because at least with martial arts, you're like either throwing people or throwing punches or breaking boards or, shit like that. So, yeah, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one because of that square. And that Mars Pluto square is going to be there for a couple days. So beyond this moon T-squaring it, we're going to have that Mars square Pluto for a couple of days here. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, people made their choices when they made their choices. But what I will say is that if you stood your ground in the last 4 years, despite everybody coming at you and berating you, I think if you know, you know. If you stood your ground and did not comply, I salute you. I celebrate you, because that was hard to have everyone in your life probably coming at you and, criticizing and berating and bullying and all of that. So if you did stand your ground over the last 4 years, I freaking salute you. So, all right, let's see what's up with the tarot. I did not comply in the last 4 years, and I'm damn proud that I didn't fall for that shit. Period. I'm damn proud of myself. I've thrived over the last 4 years in my own ways. So 2021 was one of my best like fitness years ever. I did 75 hard that year. I closed my Apple Watch rings for like 370 days straight. Um, I freaking thrived, and I didn't have a gym. I don't think. Did I have a gym that year? I think I did. I had a gym, but I don't know if I used it very often. I mostly did a lot of outdoor stuff and used YouTube and things like that. So do something like that. Like maybe this is the time for you to do something like 75 hard, like a mental toughness challenge to really engage your brain into doing something productive with all of your energy that you need to get out of your system. Do a 75 hard. There is a 75 soft. Honestly, come on, come on. I don't like the rules of it, and I will tell you why. One is I get the rules of like only one workout a day, because there are people, I couldn't do two 45-minute workouts right now. I don't have the capacity for it. But so it's one, I think it's one, this is 75 soft. I think it's like one 20-minute workout, read like 10 pages of any book. So it can be fiction or nonfiction. I don't align with that. I think nonfiction is important. Um, and then it's like you can have one cheat day a week, including one alcohol night a week. I don't agree with that. Like if you're going to be mentally tough for 75 days, you don't need a cheat day. You don't need a cheat day. So 75 hard is two 45-minute workouts every day for 75 days. It's a progress photo, 10 pages of a nonfiction book, a gallon of water, just water, and then following a diet. And I just did like no white sugar or no white carbs or something like that. And I basically ate the same meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 75 days straight. If I wanted a snack, I found no sugar added protein bars. So I liked that one. I did it over the summer when I was in Arizona, and I lost like, I don't know, 15 pounds. I lost a lot of weight that year. I lost like 20 pounds, I think, overall that year. But the nutrition had to be so strict that I didn't want to maintain it because I like sugar. See, I'm not perfect. Anywho, so let's get into this tarot now that I've been sidetracked by 75 hard. Watch it be bat lefts. I bet it will be, because this energy is just this is just dicey as fuck energy. Oh, surprisingly, it's the Queen of Starships, the Queen of Cups, upright. I believe this is Ogawa, Nurse Ogawa. Queen of Cups upright, emotionally well managed, is in it to kind of harmonize things emotionally. And this is what I mean about being compassionate. You don't have to come off like I told you so or a know-it-all. I just think that's not how this should go. But I do think there is some compassion needs to come from both sides, right? There's people who we'll just stick with the example I used earlier of like, there's people who stood their ground and didn't comply, and there's people who did comply. But I think for those groups of people to come together, there has to be something from both sides, right? There can't just be those who didn't comply being compassionate to those who did comply and everything's all right with the world. No, you gotta come back and apologize for some of the bullying that happened. There were people who were flat out berated by their loved ones for non-compliance. And this can go for anything, right? When you set a boundary, if someone doesn't like your boundary, there's always like the meet in the middle point where the person who set the boundary has their role, but then the person who they set the boundary against has to come back and be like, I'm so sorry that I crossed the line, or, I'm so sorry that I put you in a compromising position. Those sorts of things. I think there's kind of this even give and take balance, from both parties of a situation. Let's see what's up with the ancient feminine wisdom. I am working on doing sun and rising signs for Cancer season. It's going to be like a zodiac season over like sun and rising signs for each sun season. So I need to get one of my new decks for that, and I'm waiting for the other deck to come in the mail. So Sun and Rising Signs will be back. It's just going to be a different format. I also have my Calendly fixed. So if you would like to book a reading with me, you can do that. You can get the basic Sun, Moon, Rising. You can get the full chart reading, or you can get a single transit reading. So if you would like, to know what Cancer season is going to look like, or, something like that, we can definitely do that. So that's fixed. You can buy me a coffee. That link is below. And you can, of course, join the Awakening Spirit Collective. My affiliate link for that is below as well, if you would like some further support beyond just me. Okay, we got Antigone, and this is loyalty. Oh, what do I think of that? What do I feel about it? Loyalty. Well, I mean, I definitely think allies lines are going to get blurred. And, we've talked about this before with the South Node in Libra, and, we're past the halfway point now. Plus this Mars Pluto square, which we had back in October, I believe right around the Libra eclipse. So was it a solar eclipse in Libra? Well, I guess it would have been if it was October. So ally and or changes in allies will be a thing. I would say in our personal lives, like it's, I think always leave the door open for people to come back and apologize, or come back and like reestablish the relationship. And the thing is with relationships, they don't have to be what they once were. I've got friends who, maybe we've been through so much that we can't not communicate, but we definitely don't communicate how we did 5 or 10 years ago, right? But we still respect each other, and do want some sort of communication. And so, no relationship has to go back to the way it was. That's sort of the point of the South Node in Libra, is renegotiating relationships, and reestablishing those boundary lines. So that's what I got for this moon in Leo. Please be safe out there. It's a challenging time. It really is, but there's an opportunity for a lot of growth, a lot of light, and a lot of leveling up. But unfortunately, part of leveling up is you got to let go of some gunk, some shit, some subconsciousness. You've got to face some of your shadows and wounds, and it's not an easy feat to do this work. Nobody who's been through it will tell you that. And if they have, then they haven't done it. They haven't done it right, in my opinion. But anyway, so thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I'm sending you a lot of love. I celebrate you, especially if you are somebody who stood up against compliance over the last 4 years of things. And yeah, so I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you in the next video.